Jay here, how you doing? This is video number 2 of 15, so welcome back. As you can already read by the title, today's video is called Love Yourself First Before Getting into a Relationship. Now, I'm not trying to preach to you or tell you that you're not supposed to or allowed to or whatever to be in a relationship before you don't love yourself. I'm just saying that it does make a huge difference, because how you love yourself is how you teach another person to love you. So let's just jump right into it. It really is true when people say you can only love somebody as much as you love yourself. Being with another person can be really uplifting. It can feel really nice. You can be really happy because you're like, hey, somebody's out there who loves me for me. I know how that feels like, but I also know what the other side of that feels like when you lose that person. First of all, you have to understand that you are whole as you are. You don't need another person to complete the half that you are, because you're not a half, you're a whole without anybody else, okay? So you don't need anybody to complete you, and you never should need anybody to complete you. You should work on completing yourself if you don't feel like that, if you don't feel that way. Then, like I already said, the way you love yourself is how you teach another person to love you. How many times have you not said what you really wanted? How many times have you let people walk all over you because you didn't have the self-confidence to speak up? Now imagine being in a relationship with a person you really like, you love, and them just letting them impose their will upon you because you just don't ever speak up. And you love them so much you just go with it, even if it really doesn't feel right. Like the energy is just so off. You just go with it regardless because you love them. If you don't have any boundaries, how do you expect another person to respect you and just put up boundaries themselves? Like, you have to put up your own boundaries and show them to people. Communicate what you feel is right, what you feel is wrong, what you're into, what you're not into, what you like, what you don't, what makes you feel comfortable, when you're uncomfortable, all these things. This one also I feel is a really big one, if not the biggest one. It's people who stay in relationships because they feel like if they break up, they lose themselves. Again, I just want to remind you, you are not a half, you're a whole. And if something feels off, if it doesn't feel right anymore, if you feel like as people you've grown apart, you should be able to do the right thing for yourself and walk away. Everything starts and ends with you. I said that in the first video. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. I'll link it at the end of this video as well. But that's how it is. Every other relationship you build, be it friendships, be it a romantic relationship, it all starts from the relationship you have with yourself. So depending on how much you love yourself, you respect yourself, and all these things about yourself, the self-confidence you have and everything else, that's how you teach another person to love you. So whenever you catch yourself, wandering off in your head, daydreaming about, relationships and how it would be like to be in one, or even if you are one, if you're one of those people who aren't exactly the happiest, but you feel like you can't walk away, you can't end it because you would lose a part of yourself, then I want you to check in with yourself. Why exactly are you feeling that way? What do you really need? And the answer is always going to be you. The love you're looking for in other people, you should look for within yourself. You should give it yourself first. And that is so important, because you have to understand, people come, people go. But in the end, what's meant to be always will be. I believe nobody is meant to be alone in the end. I feel like everybody's got somebody out there who is their person, who's gonna stick with them, and so on. The thing is, if you only love yourself to a certain extent, You teach the other person to love you to that extent. But what you dream about, what you envision, what you want is so much more. It's unconditional love, right? So you have to work on unconditionally loving yourself first, so when it comes to a relationship, to a significant other, you don't accept anything less than that. See, if you want a diamond, you can't settle for a rock just because you're lonely. If you're lonely, ask yourself what you need and then give yourself that first. I feel like, and this is just what happened to me and in my life, but like we see it all the time. Those moments where you don't go looking for love are usually the moments that love finds you. When I met my first girlfriend, I was 20. I was desperate. I was like, I can't believe this. I'm 20. I haven't even had my first kiss. Of course, I was in my head all the time, imagining all this stuff. But the moment where I was just like, you know what, just let it be. The moment I just let it be, she came to me. It's like the universe just magically conspired, like it always kind of does. So that's how that happened. So if there's just one thing I could give to you, because it's something that I've learned, is that don't go looking for love, don't go searching for love. Let love find you. And in the meantime, work on the love you have for yourself. Because the more love you have for yourself, the more love is gonna come to you. And what we all want is unconditional love. You know, somebody where we can just completely be ourselves, not be judged, and just feel free. Freedom. Home. That's the feelings that we're looking for. But you don't go out and find them. You let them come to you. So that was video number 2. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. If you learned something new, that's awesome. That's kind of the goal of this. Well, the goal is just kind of to make people think. So if I made you think about this topic of self-love and relationships and how self-love impacts relationships, and not just romantic ones, it's all kinds of relationships, then leave a like, share, subscribe, because why not? And I thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.